Hello and welcome to this fourth video on logical reasoning. In this video, we will look at coding decoding type of questions. So let's get started. When it comes to coding decoding, you have to think like Sherlock. So what happens is, let's say there's an alphabet A and they're saying A becomes, let's say, C, B becomes D. What do you think E will become? Right? So simple question like that. So what they're doing is they are replacing an alphabet by another alphabet, and it need not be one. They could say, let's say A, C, D, for example. And this is another question. Let's say A, C, D becomes B, D, E. So he will say, what will P, Q, L become? Right? So an alphabet is being replaced by another one. So let's look at the first example here. What happened? So we know in the alphabets, like from A to Z, A is at the first place, where C is at the third place, and B is at the second place, and it's replaced by D, which is at the fourth place. That means there's a jump of 2 here, right? Jump of 2 here as well, right? That means they are expecting us to make this also jump here. So E, F, G. So that means the answer could be G. Now this is extremely basic, but I'm saying this is what happens. Now let's look at this question. Same thing. A, C, D became B, D, E. Ultimately what happened? A, after A, what comes? B. So A plus 1 is happening, C plus 1 is happening, and D plus 1 is happening, and that's how it's moving to this. Similarly here you can do P plus 1, P, Q, P, Q, Q after Q, R, L, M. So it will be Q, R, M, right? So things like that. Now what happens is that there could be 3 scenarios, and I have put together 10 questions for practice in this video, which we will attempt. So one is on the basis of the letter series. That means a letter being replaced by another letter. So that's one, right? So it could be in terms of plus 1. It could also be minus 1. So for example, if they say DE is becoming as, let's say, CD. So they're saying, now can you tell what PL will be replaced as, right? So again, here what happened? There's a minus 1 that happened, right? So it could be plus 1, it could be minus 1, it could be plus 1, minus 1, plus 1, minus 1, and so on and so forth. There could be plus 2, minus 2, or minus 2, plus 2. So these are the different variables that happens, right? So that's one case. Now I have seen when it comes to coding decoding questions, people sometimes write A to Z in their notebook. I would say that's a waste of time. Okay, even if you want to do that maybe before the time starts. So for example, if you have the luxury to, if you have the rough notebook, or let's say a rough paper, and before the time starts of the aptitude test, you can then write. And that also, I would say you write it in this format. The reason I am writing this here for you is that you should understand that the place value of this is 1. Right, and the place value of Z is, for example, 26 here, right? A, B is written as, say, Z, Y. So can you tell me what E, F will be written as? So what you can do, see how A is getting moved to Z. So basically what's the logic? It's like reverse. That means from A, what is behind A, right? So after A, B comes, but what is behind A, right? So this is nothing but the Z, right? So similarly, the mapping could be this, like almost like diagonally opposite, right? So A to Z, B to Y. Similarly, M would get replaced by N, right? And L would replace by O. So ultimately, what's the logic? Either you have written this in your notebook and you can look at that, or another logic also is that you see A's place value is 1. It is getting replaced by Z. Place value is how much? 26. B's place value is 2. It is replaced by Y. Y's place value is 25. What you can also note is that every time if the reversal is happening, A plus whatever it is getting replaced by, so let's say it is A and Z, the total of A plus Z place value would always be 27. 26 plus 1. So similarly, if somebody tells you, let's say H is getting replaced, okay, so what is the place value of H? This is 8, right? And 8 plus how much is 27? That means the other has to be 19, right? So 19, who is at 19 place value, right? So you can say this is 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, S, right? So H is HS. So it could be like that. So that's one way to remember. What's the other way to remember? Other way to remember is, in case you want to remember the place value, one logic could be you remember this EJOTY. That means, I remember when I was preparing for CAT myself, I used to know this. So how it helps? So E is at the 5th place, this is at the 10th place, this is at the 15th place, this is at the 20th place, and this is at the 25th place. So I've seen people remembering from A to Z also, like A's place value is this, and you ask them randomly what is the place value of K, they can tell you it's 11. But I'm saying you should not remember 1 to 26. I mean, I'm not sure if it has a high return of investment. So instead of remembering from all the 26 alphabets, at least if you remember EJOTY, EJOTY, right? So just if you remember this, you would know these are all at 5, 10. So let's say you ask me a question. Let's say somebody asks randomly, okay, what is the place value of K? So I know EJ. J is at 10th place. So K would be 11. If somebody asks you, let's say randomly, okay, tell me what is Q. So how do we remember Q? We don't start from A, we will say KLMNO PQ, OPQ. Okay, so you say O is at 15th place, so Q would be at 17th place. So this is one fast way to remember. So two tricks here. One, this EJOTY, so that we remember the place value of this. Second, if you have time before, don't do this in between the aptitude test. That means when your exam has started. But before that, if you could write maybe these 26 letters, 13 in one row and another 13 in another row. So what will happen is that you can easily replace and see, okay, if the reverse logic is getting applied. So ultimately +1, -1, +2, -2, and these kind of things, or it could be a reversal that happens in the letter series. Okay, let's move to some questions, right, to attempt actually, right, how things are working. Okay, so let's attempt close to 4 questions on the letter series. Let's look at the first question. It says triple is written as SQHOOKD. Okay, so PP is here and this becomes O. So okay, T is becoming S. So can you see some logic? E is becoming D, right? So this is very, very obvious. That means what happening is this is becoming -1 on every letter, isn't it? Because after S, what comes? PQRS, T, Q, R, F, G, H, I. So -1 is happening on all. So therefore, for dispose will be written in that code as how? So you do -1. So either you look at the options, right? So now you have none of these. So while you can easily reject that after D, before D it should convert to -1. So E cannot be the answer, this cannot be the answer, this cannot be the answer, right? So the only option is this or none of these. So if you do -1 on all, you can easily get this answer. Okay. Now let's look at the other, but you have to do all these letters because there's also none of these. If none of these was not there, I could have easily marked this here, right? I need not calculate all. I could have just looked at first letter and could have marked. Okay, let's look at the second question. The second question says, in a certain code, clear is written as this. Okay. Okay, so from CS, it cannot move, right? It's going ahead, but here it's going minus. That means some other trend is there, right? So this is E, it's becoming F, right? So this is 1 plus, but here it's going first plus and then minus, right? The other very simple thing to note is that after C, what comes? D comes. After L, what comes? KL, M, right? After A, what comes? B comes. After R, what comes? S. So while you have the same letters, but they are in this direction, that means what they are doing is they are doing a +1 on everything. The middle one is here only, whereas C +1 D, L +1 M, A +1 B, and R +1 S. So that means they are doing a +1, but they are replacing the positions, right? They are sort of moving to diagonally opposite words. Similarly, can we see the same in bonds? KLM and O. So this also same thing. But D is not moving that side, D is moving this side, right? So how would stale be written as, right? So if you were to write, let's say stale in the same fashion, how will you write? A will become +1 B here only, right? After L, what comes? KL M. E, what comes? E F. P Q R S T. Q R S T U, right? So like that, F M B U T, F M B U T. Okay. So this is the answer. Extremely simple. So we did just a +1 and replace the positions, right? Okay, let's look at the next one. Monkey is written as XJDMNL. Okay, L N M J D X, right? So if you see, words are the same, but it's just the placement has changed, right? So they are saying this is actually becoming X, D, J, M, N, L. This is the logic, right? This is how it's moving, right? So from Y you do -1 X, right? So similarly, if you look at here, how is tiger written as that? So tiger, so M was moving to -1 but towards this side. So tiger would move PQRSTU, PQRRST, S. So S would be this side, right? S is where this side. It's not here, so this is out, right? Okay. R is moving to Q, so Q has to be this side, right? So Q and S, so only one option, right? So we will not check for other things, we'll just mark it here, right? So minus was what happening and the place is getting changed. Okay, in a certain code, Delhi is written as WVOSR. Okay, this is actually, if you notice, this is very far away. That means it could be the reversal happening, right? So either we could go and check from that table of 13, this thing, and 13 written here, or you can say place value. What is the place value of D? Is 4, isn't it? E is 5, right? L is KLMNO. So J, KL, J is 10, so K and L would be 12, right? H, E, F, G, H. E is 5, F, G, H, meaning this is, right, 8, H, I is 9. So that means what's happening is that the place value would change, right? So let's check what is the place value of W. W, X, Y, Z. That means 23, right? Now if you check 23 plus 4 is how much? 27. So same logic, right? Let me check one more, right? K11 O. Now EJO, A we know, O is at 15th place. That means if we have to check if this is the same logic, we should know that this place should also be 12, because adding up should be 27. That means yes. So this is all the reversal. So we know now the logic. Now we can put the same thing here. So now what is the place value of P? P. That means this is 16, right? U would be how much? The PQRST U. U is 21, right? That means you will just replace it, because there is none of these, we will have to calculate all 4. If none of these was not there, we could have simply marked the option here only, right? N is how much? KLMNO? NO. So that means 14. And E would be 5. So if this has to become whatever the reversal, the addition should be 27. So that means we are looking at the place value of 11. We are looking at place value of 6. Right from reverse, we are looking at place value of 13. We are looking at place value of 22. Here 11th place. Yeah, 11th place is nothing but K. Okay, yeah. Okay, what is the next place? 6. 6 is how much? Your F. 13. So J, K, L, M. Right? And then 25. So this is 22. Who is at 22nd place? PQRST UV. That means KFMV. KF. Okay, see, KFVM it is there, not MV. So that means this is wrong, right? None of these. So this is how we could attempt this question. So now that we have seen the 4 questions on letter series and how alphabets are getting replaced by another alphabet, in the next video on coding decoding, I will take you through how letters could be replaced by numbers or symbols. So thanks for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video on coding decoding.